Ciao everyone and welcome back to another episode of Learn Italian with Songs. I did it, guys. It was a very long day. Thank you for waiting. But yeah, I did it. I'm here. I'm still alive. A bit tired, but I'm still alive. And in fact, I'm ready to talk about Amarcord by Sara Toscano, ranked 18th, no, 17th at the Sanremo Music Festival 2025 edition. So, we already saw several songs from this Sanremo. Guess what's the premise, the theme of this song? I'm going to sip my juice because I am in lack of vitamins, so I keep drinking vitaminical juices. So I can give you the time to give me an answer concerning what might be the premise of the story told in this song. Good evening, Gaso. Can you imagine what's this song about? Because I think you can. Just to give a hint, Amarcord is not an Italian word. Amarcord is the title of the song. So I can't really translate it per se. In fact, it is a word coming from the dialetto romagnolo, so the dialect spoken in Emilia-Romagna, and it means in this dialect I remember, which in Italian would be io ricordo. Specifically, it is a reference. It is referencing the title of a movie by Fellini released in 1973 that in fact has the same title. Specifically, Fellini changed a bit the meaning, going from simply I remember to making it the symbol of a very specific emotion, which is a memory, a nostalgic recollection of the past. Okay, you came here with zero preparation, but don't worry, I got you, because this song, incredible, never heard before, talks about a breakup and being nostalgic and melancholic about it. Sounds so new and fresh, right? So, yeah, this title is not only a tribute to the dialetto romagnolo and to Fellini, but it also describes a bit the vibe of the song, which is nostalgia and melancholy, just like we like it, right? Yeah, nostalgia and breakup, our favorites. And in fact, Sara Toscano says, and I translate, Amarcord is taken from the Fellini movie. Generally, the song talks about reliving a nostalgic memory. If it were an image, it would definitely be a Luna Park at night, an amusement park at night, okay? I think by the simple description, you can already feel the mood of the song. Now we are going to dive into the lyrics, but I can already spoiler you if you never listened to this song, that, how can I say, the music perfectly conveys the point of the lyrics. The lyrics per se, we are going to see it in a moment, are quite simple and straightforward, okay? But still beautiful in their simplicity, if you ask me. So, without further ado, let's go with the verse 1. La sera ride ma suona drammatica. The evening laughs but it sounds dramatic. And we, as we like to say in Italian, partiamo col botto. So we start in fifth gear because the evening laughs but it sounds dramatic. So opening the doors to the drama since the first line. We are not playing here, no jokes. Sembra la zona più buia di un Luna Park. It seems like the darkest zone of an amusement park. Now, as I was saying, partiamo col botto, because we already have the description in just the first two lines of these. It is basically the description of what nostalgia and melancholy are. Because we have something positive, la sera ride, the evening laughs, but we also have the bitter aftertaste of nostalgia and melancholy, but it sounds dramatic and it seems like the darkest zone of an amusement park, where the amusement park matches the positive thing because it is something where you have fun, we go with your friends. In many movies, it is associated to young couples having their first dates, right? But we also have the dark zone. So with just two lines, we already present this feeling of it is a beautiful memory, and yet it hurts, like it represents one of the darkest moments of my life, like the drama. Can you feel the drama? Con te era più romantica. With you, I have to say it was more romantic because you will see it is postponed the subject of the verb. La ruota panoramica, the Ferris wheel. In Italian, the Ferris wheel is called ruota panoramica. Ruota is exactly wheel, just like in English. However, panoramica, it is an adjective coming from panorama, which is landscape. So it is a little bit like calling it in Italian landscape wheel, because the idea is that when you are going on the wheel, you see the landscape around. So why I had to put it? Because in Italian you can postpone the verb. In English, the structure of the sentence is more rigid. So I should reorder it, because it should be: con te la ruota panoramica era più romantica. With you, the Ferris wheel was more romantic. Just to put it in perspective. Mi piaceva anche avere paura. I also liked being afraid, which we can interpret like even the things that are per se negative, because fear, we can all agree, I think, on the fact that fear is a negative emotion. But with you, even negative things, even negative emotions became positive, okay? And then we have straightforward the pre-chorus. C'è un vento che mi porterà. There is a wind that will carry me. Mi scioglierà le trecce. It will undo my braids. Fun fact, sciogliere, it is a verb that in Italian we use for other collocations. For example, il ghiaccio si scioglie. The ice melts. But you also undo your hair. And in Italian, sciogli i capelli, le trecce, la coda, like the hairstyles, like this is a braid. But you can say it with all the hairstyles you can undo, ok? Di una vie en rose come Edith Piaf of a vie en rose like Edith Piaf, non mi rimane niente. I have nothing left. So, what is this in Italian vie en rose, because we like to roll our R's, despite my French friends thinking that I'm actually Romanian, because apparently in France people think that Romanians roll the R's more than the Italians. I don't know why. Happens. But probably because they are used to Italians with a better pronunciation than myself. So, why are we having this French expression? Because yes, Vie en Rose is a title of a song by Edith Piaf, but it also became, I don't know if because of the song, but it is also an expression, okay? The equivalent in English would be to see life through pink tainted glasses, okay? In Italian we have as well an idiom which is vedere tutto rose e fiori, which is literally to see everything roses and flowers, okay? And all these expressions convey the same concept, which is living a happy life. You live a happy life, so you see only happy things around you. And the singer, the narrator, the protagonist of the story is saying, I have nothing left of a life where I was seeing everything good, nice, beautiful, which is a feeling quite relatable, mainly if you think about when you are young and you have and you experiment and you feel love for the first times, you have your crushes and whatnot, because when you are with your crush, when you are with the person you like, everything seems nice, you are enthusiastic about it, it is a bit romanticized, like in a tale, in a fairy tale, okay? And basically here we are after the breakup, so of that magical world, that fairy tale world, nothing is left. C'ero io, there was me. C'eri tu, there were you. Una lacrima mi scende. A tear falls from me. Scendere is literally to go down, because the idea is this movement, okay, of the tear dripping through on your face, okay? So the idea is that here the protagonist is thinking about those beloved memories of the relationship that ended. She sees herself with a partner and she cries about it because everything is lost. Like levels of drama over the top. And then we have the chorus. Anche se, even though, ti scorderò, I'll forget you, in un club il sabato, in a club on Saturday, as in I'm going to forget you because I'm going clubbing, ok? E tutto così is also Amarcord, which is this feeling of nostalgia. So I'm going to forget you because I'll go clubbing, okay? But doing so, I will feel nostalgic and melancholic. Comico e tragico. Comic and tragic. Cos'eri tu? What were you? As in, what was our situationship? Non lo so, I don't know, ma un po' mi avevi illusa. But just a little you had me fooled. Where illudere in Italian has the same root of words shared with English, for example, illusion, which hints about, because here I had to translate it with to fool, okay? But the nuance is a little bit different in Italian, because illudere qualcuno, so to fool someone, in English, to fool someone gives you more an idea of making a fool out of someone, so like pranking someone, playing with them. In Italian, the idea behind illudere is the one of the illusion, so it is a little bit more poetic, if you will, because it implies that someone built this illusion for us, a little bit like a magic, and it used this enchantment, this magic, this illusion to hide the reality from us. So you see, same concept in the end, but the nuance of the word is a little bit different. In fact, to me, in Italian, it keeps more this dramatic vibe in the original version. But I had to translate it as to fool to give you the idea of the meaning, ok? Sai, però, but, you know, forse in un film, maybe in a movie, io con te, me with you, non mi ci immagino. I can imagine myself in it. So the idea is throughout the whole song this idea of a fairy tale. We have several hints to that. So we have these two lovers living their fairy tale, okay? A bit like an illusion, even though there wasn't even a relationship. It was what we'd call nowadays a situationship, so nothing defined. But the protagonist says, but I was thinking that we could have been more than that. And then she thinks again, saying, but you know, now that I think about it, I can see myself with you in a movie. So like this fairy tale, because the cinema, the love story, they are all very fairy tale-ish, like not very realistic. And she's saying, but you know, in the end, if I have to imagine us in a movie, in a romantic movie, I can't really see us there together. So it is a way a bit to saying, in the end, deep down, like, it makes sense that we broke up, that this relationship didn't go further, okay? E sembra così, and it seems so démodé, però era magico, but it was magical. And again, we have this idea of the illusion, of the movie, of the fairy tale, of the magic, okay? And I kept the French word because we acquired this word from French. Yeah, basically, like, look how much teenage drama juice I have here. Which also fits the singer, because let's remember that I didn't say that, but Sara Toscano is very young. Like I'm talking like I'm 80 years old because I feel like that in the inside. But let's remember that Sara Toscano is 19 years old or something like that. Okay, so she is very young. So it is in character this song. As I was saying, démodé is a word we took from French. It literally means out of fashion. Okay, in fact, technically we also have the Italian expression because we have it in two words, which is fuori moda, but objectively démodé is more elegant, is more fancy, because Italian often did what English also did, that when we want to sound fancy we use French words, which is always quite funny, because then the French listened to us and was like, bro, it is just a word, can you use your own, please? No, because for us it's fancy. Okay. And I think it is used also in English, at least British English, démodé. But in English, it would be more like outdated, old-fashioned. In this case, it is more old-fashioned, vintage, which is another French word anyway, but you get the point. And again, as I was saying, we have again mentioned this magical dimension, okay? Cosa sei tu? What are you? Because we already had the protagonist asking herself, cos'eri tu? Like, what were we? What was our relationship? And so, what are you now that we break up? Un déjà vu. A déjà vu. We really liking French words tonight. So, déjà vu is a French expression that literally translates as already seen, okay? But specifically, it is the phenomenon of feeling like one has lived through the present situation in the past. So, it is like something you already seen, something you already went through with other people, like nothing special. And in fact, she continues saying, mi sono solo illusa. I just fooled myself, with this beautiful alliteration of S. Really appreciated indeed. Amarcord. Because this whole situation, this whole bunch of feelings described in the pre-chorus and in the chorus, but in the whole song, can be summarized in one word, Amarcord. And then we have the second verse. Una lama mi accarezza. A blade caresses me. Actually, it would be it is always the point of switching places in the translation, because it would be, literally speaking, una lama mi accarezza la consapevolezza. A blade caresses my awareness. Which is I guess the most literary translation that I can give with a meaning. And what's this awareness? Che indietro non ci ritornerò. That I won't go back there. So, in the end, yes, there is this feeling nostalgic, melancholic, the Amarcord, okay? But in the end, I am aware about the fact that relationship, that person wasn't right for me, so I don't want to go back there in that situation. e mi faccio tenerezza. And the best way I can translate it is, and I make myself tender. Now, because it is a phenomenon we saw several times, where instead of using verbs, we use fare plus a noun, an adjective. In this case, fare tenerezza is quite a common expression. When something ti fa tenerezza, okay, literally translate as something makes you tenderness, okay, gives you tenderness. So if I had to translate it like more meaning wise, it would be, and I give myself tenderness. Looking at myself, I create this feeling of tenderness for myself, in myself, because it is probably that feeling of wanting to take care of yourself, seeing a vulnerable part of yourself as a child that you need to take care of. But it can also be the feeling of looking back, seeing yourself happy but fooled, and you have this tender feeling like you are a bit sad, but you want to protect and take care and cuddle that part of you that was so carefree and happy, because it's something you want to treasure. Okay, it is, you know, that you can have that feeling of I look back about what I did in the past and I'm cringing, so like I want to push it away. Tenderness is a little bit the opposite, in my opinion, where you want to treasure that part and protect that version of you. Un velo di tristezza, a veil of sadness, è l'unico vestito che ho. It is the only dress I have. And to be honest, this is a very good metaphor. I really like those verses. They are my absolute favorite in this song. In fact, like, I don't agree with those criticizing the lyrics, because they are on point. Yes, they are simple, but is the same thing I said with Dimenticarsi alle 7 by Elodie. They work in their simplicity. And in fact, Amarcord by Sara Toscano is getting rewarded with views and like online and whatnot. And then we have once again the pre-chorus. C'è un vento che mi porterà, there is a wind that will carry me, mi scioglierà le trecce, it will undo my braids. Di una vie en rose come Edith Piaf, of a vie en rose like Edith Piaf, non mi rimane niente, I have nothing left. C'ero io, there was me, c'eri tu, there were you. Una lacrima mi scende, a tear falls from me. Now that I think about it, c'ero io, c'eri tu can also represent a duality of two people existing in a relationship as individuals that stay always apart. Because it's not good to have a couple where like there is like a sort of symbiosis, because then it really becomes codependency. But at the same time, you need a little bit of union in the couple. This c'ero io, c'eri tu really gives me the vibe of this separation, of this situation where the two lovers never really get together. They are always separated. Then we have the chorus, anche se, even though, ti scorderò, I'll forget you, in un club il sabato, in a club on a Saturday, è tutto così Amarcord, comico e tragico. It's also Amarcord, comic and tragic. Cosa eri tu? What were you? Non lo so, I don't know, ma un po' mi avevi illusa. But just a little bit you had me fooled. Sai però, but you know, forse in un film, maybe in a movie, io con te, me with you, non mi ci immagino. I can't imagine myself in it. E sembra così, and it seems so démodé, però era magico, but it was magical. Cos'eri tu? Cosa sei tu? What are you? Un déjà vu, a déjà vu. Mi sono solo illusa. I just fooled myself. Amarcord. And then we have a bridge connecting us to the last part of the song, which is a variation of the chorus. But first, as I said, we have this bridge. E ancora quel ricordo stupendo. And still that beautiful memory. Fun fact, ricordo comes from ricordare, which etymologically speaking means to keep in your heart, because ricordo, it means like that you keep it in your heart. In fact, it comes from cor, from Latin. In fact, little note on the side, in Italian we have several different ways, but mainly relevant in this discussion, two ways to say to forget. You can say scordare, or you can say dimenticare. And in fact, if you notice, she says ti scorderò, and then she talks about ricordo. This is because dimenticare, etymologically speaking, means to remove from your mind, but scordare, it means to remove from your heart. E ancora quel ricordo stupendo, and still that beautiful memory, non è volato via con il vento, it didn't fly away with the wind. Ma dopo tutto mi arrendo, but after all I give up, una lacrima mi scende giù. A tear rolls down my face. So, the idea here is that I still have these beautiful memories. I didn't lose them with the wind like easily, but I give up because I know probably that I can't cling too much, or that still having these memories, it hurts me, and so I cry. And then we end with a variation of the chorus. Why a variation? Because the first two sections are different, and then we have the actual repetition of the chorus. Anche se ti scorderò, where scorderò is repeated in the echo, even though I'll forget you, è tutto così Amarcord. It's also Amarcord, where Amarcord is repeated in the echo. Cosa eri tu? Non lo so. What were you? I don't know. Ma un po' mi avevi illusa, where illusa is repeated in the echo. But just a bit you had me fooled. And then we have the repetition of the actual the actual chorus. Anche se ti scorderò in un club il sabato, even though I'll forget you in a club on Saturday, è tutto così Amarcord, comico e tragico. It's also Amarcord, comic and tragic. Cosa eri tu? Non lo so, ma un po' mi avevi illusa. What were you? I don't know, but a bit you had me fooled. Sai però, forse in un film io con te non mi ci immagino. But you know, maybe in a movie, me with you, I can imagine myself in it. Sembra così démodé, però era magico. It seemed so démodé, but it was magical. Cosa sei tu? Un déjà vu. What are you? A déjà vu. Mi sono solo illusa. I just fooled myself. Amarcord. And that was Amarcord lyrics by Sara Toscano. Now, démodé indeed. So, what gossip do we have? Not really, actually. I'm still trying to put my... I have a itchy eye. I don't know, like, I got some dust in it. But, like, it's not that she doesn't do much. It's like, she's 19. What do you want? Like, it's good we don't have that much. But we still have something. Because the memes, guys, the memes never disappoint. So, Angelina, by the way. Okay, so Sara Toscano. What did she do? Besides the fact that she was infantilized like no tomorrow during the festival, I swear to God, every time they presented herself like, and then we welcome the youngest artist of this festival. Like, she's 19, she's not 7 years old. She did Amici and she won it, I guess. Like, she's an artist doing her job. Like, she's not a child. Yes, she was the youngest, but goddamn. But besides that, the juicy gossip that I can provide you with is actually like a ship sort of that happened pretty much during the festival, because Sara Toscano published on her Instagram, I guess, or for an article of an interview, I don't remember, a picture where she was playing tennis, because a great classic of Sanremo Music Festival is that you see interviews on interviews on interviews on interviews, which drives me crazy, because every time I look for some info concerning the songs or the artist, I see the same 10 to 12 questions repeated in loop. So, what's the meaning of the song? Do you have a boyfriend or a girlfriend? Who is your boyfriend or your girlfriend? Do you love your parents? Where do you come from? It's always the same questions. But in her case, there was an interview. I don't remember which one, but I can look it up. If, as usual, if you want sources, just ask in the comments or on Discord. But basically, we saw, I saw an interview. Bless you, Alex. I saw, I read an interview and I saw the pictures of her playing tennis, because one of the questions was like, oh, was it true that you were trying to become a tennis athlete? And she was like, yes, I don't remember if because one of her parents was a tennis athlete or something like that. But yeah, basically, she was playing tennis. And in one of those interviews, she revealed that basically she has a crush for one of our best tennis players, who is called Berrettini. Name Matteo, I guess. Don't quote me on that. The name should be Matteo Berrettini. And like, if I messed it up, I hope my sister won't watch this live because I don't want to be executed. Okay, it's right. Let's go. No execution. Let's go, because you have to know that in my family there are two sports in the world. One is tennis, the other is volleyball, and that's it. So she explained that Matteo Berrettini is not sure, one of her crushes. And so, like, they told her, so if you could choose with whom you like, someone to have a match with, who would you pick? And she said Matteo Berrettini. And I don't know if the quote, if a short reel was published with her saying that, but the content was posted on Instagram. And Matteo Berrettini answered to the post solo perché non mi conosce, just because she doesn't know me. So he was basically saying, like, she's joking that she would like to play with me, and like, know me better, but just because she doesn't know me. And the mad lad, Sara Toscano, 19 years old, versus Berrettini, who's probably around 30, went in and she said, possiamo rimediare, which translates as we can change that, okay? As in, like, we can know each other better if you want. And from there, like, guys, there were people posting screenshots on screenshots of Berrettini liking pictures of Sara Toscano. By the way, they have like 10 years of age gap. And he has like, he's in a relationship right now. But yeah, during Sanremo, we had this ship going on. Now, I don't have any other thing to add because, like, Sara Toscano had a quite clean quite clean Sanremo. She went, she did her job, she flirted with Berrettini, who is, by the way, a handsome man, nothing to say about it. But yeah, like, it was quite epic, not gonna lie. And it became like a funny ship. I don't know what happened then, but we can keep talking about this type of gossip on Discord, because learn Italian with gossip. See, like, yeah, these usually athletes are very well built, but moreover, Matteo Berrettini is renowned for being a handsome man, generally speaking. Not only an athlete, like, with a like very well built body, but he is generally considered handsome as well. So, Sara Toscano, understandable. That said, now, non ci allarghiamo. Anyway, let me know in the comments, what do you think about Amarcord by Sara Toscano? And I hope you enjoyed this live, and we'll see each other tomorrow, hopefully if I don't have any other issues, but in case I will say it, with I don't remember what what I have on the list, but you can see it on the channel. That said, grazie everyone for watching and arrivederci. Bye!